Hello, everybody. So, we have some pretty impactful news today. We have the almighty Hoyoverse getting fined 20, 20 whole million dollars for essentially selling gambling to kids. Now, you're probably asking, how? How are they selling gambling to kids when they have no means of, buying anything with their own money because they have none? Well, there are a few different examples. So when we go to the Genshin Impact page, all right, it's going to say a bunch of things, a bunch of things to get you to buy the game, how kid friendly it is. Oh, look at the nice bright colors, look at the modest clothes so it's not too provocative. The tags for role playing, action role playing, single player, stylized anime, isekai, fantasy, all these fun things. Now, they are going to go and show a bunch of these different pictures about all the cool looking characters, this, that, and the other. It says the game, who is it made by. It shows all these different things. Unfortunately, a 3.2 star rating. All these things, but what is it not going to show? It's not going to show the tag of gotcha, which is a pretty big thing because that's essentially the core gameplay is for a gotcha is for a gotcha game is the gotcha system. You every time you try and pull on a character, it's going to be randomized. Now, what it shows here in a very hidden area right about here is it's going to show in-app purchases. Now, it's a sneaky one because it's hidden right up here where you don't normally look. Now, of course, every gotcha game is going to have some sort of in-app purchases because that's how they keep the game going. It's fairly understandable. Now, the unfortunate thing on how kids are gambling and using their parents' money is, of course, when they're playing on their iPad or whatever, it's most likely going to be their parents. Now, everybody loves ease of access. They don't like to have to put in information multiple times. Like, who does? So what they're going to do is they're going to save their credit card to their iPad and let their kids play on it. They're not going to think twice about it. They don't understand that this game has in-app purchases because they'll do things without saying spending money. They'll say, oh, you got to have some primo gems, transfer it to this, do that. Terms like top up, they never say anything like spend or money, or they try to hide how much you're spending. They don't say, hey, you're spending $20. They say, though, hey, use 2,500 primo gems to get a 10 puller or something to that effect. Now, it's very deceptive because kids they don't have any concept of money. So they're going to be like, oh, $100, that's nothing. Click that, get some more primo gems to get their brand new favorite character. It's just that simple. And unfortunately, it creates a sort of addictive mechanic. Because let's say they do that every so often, their parents don't notice the small amounts. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, I need this new character. I need it. I need all the constellations. I need it maxed out. I need the weapon maxed out. They're going to spend all this money, all this hard-earned money that the parents have, and then it creates a sort of addictive drive. Now, of course, you can try and punish the child. It's not going to work out that way because the kid already did it, and it's going to be hard to try and reverse this because the kid already made the transaction. The kid already got what they wanted out of spending the money because it is a gambling system. There's no guarantee, essentially, especially if you're trying to get multiple constellations or multiple duplicates. So that's essentially what they're talking about here is with the kids playing on it. Now, you got to understand, it is not entirely the parents' fault. It is a portion of the parents' fault, but it's not entirely. I would say it's about 80% the parents' fault, or not 80%, 80% the company's fault, with a 20-ish, 15-ish percent parents' fault, and then 5% the kid. Something to that effect. Maybe you could adjust some variables there, but it is very much so not their fault. It is very predatory practices that they have going on. They try and not show it, and they try and be deceptive, like I said, with the term top up, or instead of using real money, you use primo gems and transfer currencies and everything to that effect. And there's some people that have had some pretty bad takes and some pretty good takes about this situation. The first person we're going to look at is the one, the only Doro. So, not to defend the multi-billion-dollar company, but aren't the gacha mechanics explained in-game? If you're allowing your kids to spend your money in a gacha game, then that's just bad parenting. I'm not sorry. So, as out of touch as you can be. Now, like I just said, people, the parents, will save cards, and they won't think about it. They'll just have their kid. The kid wants to play a game. It doesn't seem that bad. It's rated T for teen. It doesn't say anything explicitly shown. Hey, there's gambling mechanics. Hey, there's in-app. It does show there's in-app purchases, but only if you're looking closely. Now, you won't always see that if your kid's just showing you, hey, I want to play this new game, Genshin Impact. It looks really fun. My friends are playing it. And you could just explore the world and have fun with your friends. Okay, cool. Now, unfortunately, Doro that's just not clicking with him. He is just trying to be the ho shill that he was meant to be. And unfortunately, he has a pretty L take about this situation. He has a lot of likes on this post. I don't have the actual post up. This is just a screenshot for this one. But he has a lot of posts for this, which is pretty surprising in my opinion, because I don't feel like people should be agreeing with him too much. It's just too many people sitting there like, I need to defend my multi-billion-dollar company. They can't defend themselves. Okay, so I don't know why, but they kind of need to pull their head out of their ass and realize that it's predatory practices. Every gacha game has this, no matter which ones you like. I play a bunch right now. All of them have it. It's not just Toyoverse. It's not just Genshin Impact. It is also Wuthering Waves. They do the same currency conversion things that Hoyoverse does. Now, it is a just gacha game problem. I don't feel like anyone under the age of 16 should be able to play it, but they have T for teen. Some people argue for a higher age rating. Mainly a guy named Tectone. I don't know if you heard about him, just a small YouTuber and streamer. He advocates for it to be age 18 and plus, just so he can be as goonish as possible. Because that's all his personality is gooning, which is all more power to him. He has made a great career off of gooning, but that is just their opinion. These kind of gambling practices should not be allowed for anyone under the legal age of being an adult. Honestly, I do agree on that. Just because if we won't let a child into a casino, why would we let them gamble online? It doesn't make any sense. And they have it right here. So these are the frequently asked questions on the Genshin Impact page. So it's going to ask things like, how does the energy system work? But we're looking at the gacha system. It is created all by AI. It's going to say, how does the gacha system work in Genshin Impact? In Genshin Impact, players can obtain new characters and weapons through a gacha system by spending primo gems. Players can pull wishes using fate items, which are obtained through primo gems or in-game activities. The gacha system rewards players with random items with higher rarity characters and items being more difficult to obtain. All true, but they're saying things like primo gems, fate items, and saying you can obtain things with primo gems or in-game activities. They're not saying anything about, hey, you can spend money. Hey, you can throw money at us, and if you throw enough at us, you'll get what you want. Which, I don't know about you, it feels very deceptive on how they're wording this. They're trying their hardest to make it so you don't see anything that could negatively impact your opinion about getting this game. Or any parents that might see this, that are curious about it, that don't necessarily know what a gacha system is, they'll see this and say, oh, it's just all in-game stuff. It has nothing to do with money. It's perfectly safe for my kid to play. It's just everything they're trying to do is to try and make you think you don't need to spend money on this game, which a lot of kids will think nothing of it. Now, Mr. Pokey, he has a take on this. To the people that are shitting on Doro, it's not a matter of whether the parents are aware that these are gacha games, but how the hell are your kids getting access to your credit cards? If my mom found out I swiped her card when I'm 12, I'd be beaten beyond recognition. It's not about I don't, this is a wild take. So, of course, kids shouldn't have access to the cards. That I've already said that it is a portion, therefore, but it's a majority the company's fault. Now, it's just gonna happen because, like I said, I went over the things. They try their best to not show you that your kids are going to be capable of in-app purchases or the ability to spend money in the game. They try to avoid it as much as possible so you don't see it. Now, with the being beaten beyond recognition, I'm not here to advocate one way or another. I personally don't feel like that's the best response because it's already done. Well, they may not do it again, but the damage is already done now. I don't know about beyond recognition, but you do need to tell your kids and teach them one way or another. I feel like this is just a terrible take as well as Doro. These two really don't know what they're talking about. Mr. Pokey had a crash out with him saying there's no power creep. Another L take. I think he's just in the middle of a crash out right now, and he needs to stop giving these takes because he has no idea what he's talking about at the moment. It is unfortunate, but it's just how it is. So, we have a couple more people. We have Braxophone, the one, the only. It's a parent's job to parent kids. Of course, there's no denying that. But there's no justifiable reason for gacha to exist in the first place other than to disguise gambling as a fun game. 1,000,000% agree. That's all it is. And it's actually worse than regular gambling. Because regular gambling, you can win things. You can win money. You could actually try and come out better than when you went in. But with gacha games, there's no winning because all you're getting is pixels. You're just getting pixels. Now, what the pixels look like, it changes, but you're not really getting anything. You're not getting a real return. You're literally just spending money for the fun of spending money. You don't get anything back. So, in reality, gacha games are worse than just regular gambling. We should not normalize gambling up to $300 every 3 weeks for content, especially not to children. Gacha is predatory. And again, 1,000,000% agree. Gacha is probably the most predatory thing in gaming history. Because in most games, you don't even get a real chance to win. It's like, if you're doing loot boxes, it's a gamble every time. You don't really get a return. For this, it's you spend $300 to guarantee a character if you lose the 50-50. It's really too much. Like, are these pixels really worth $300? Think about it. It is never a good thing. Maybe a hot take, but IMO gacha should be banned in general. I play gacha games because they're the only live service anime games, and I like many of them as games. The gacha is unnecessary, though. I don't care if I gotta make a new YouTube channel. It would literally be for a betterment of society. I agree. I like the games. I like playing the games, but the whole gacha mechanic could really be done away with. It doesn't make any sense. Um, they really could circumvent and create a new mechanic so where you do not have to gamble at all. But they don't want that because the gambling portion, people throwing money at you to get a new character, is just too lucrative. We have one last take to look at, and that's going to be Gacha Smack. Here's my take from the average 35 plus parent in the world has no earthly clue what a gacha game even is. The games also hide their gacha game in their descriptions, like I showed you. They don't show anything about gacha in here. The only thing they show is a tiny thing that says in-app purchases. The typical mom or dad is going to examine that it's a 12 plus year old rating game, examine the description as well as the cartoon visuals, and this seems fine. Exactly what we were talking about. It looks pretty. It has modest characters. It looks like a fun little children's game. This is deceptive, intentional by the companies because they know parents have no earthly fucking clue about mobile gaming because most parents don't play games, period, or understand the industry the way we do. The kid gets addicted and runs into the price points and how that unfolds is absolutely due to a lack of supervision. They do that on purpose. They hide it in there. They have you say, hey, go around and collect these chests. They give you some gems. Collect enough gems, you can get the characters you want. But they only give you a finite amount. So that you run into that wall and you have to swipe one way or another. And the kids are like, oh, I want this character. I'll do anything for the character. Swipe away. Regardless, these companies need to disclose in their marketing and promotions that they are in fact gacha games that contain gambling elements, which falls on a lack of regulation from the government. Parents would see it in the description and say, no shot, my kid is playing this. Long overdue regulation is needed. I completely agree. I feel like up here, yes, okay, the in-app purchases. I feel like, yes, that can stay right there. But I feel like it needs to say it multiple times on this page. It needs to show it right here next to the install. It needs to show it down here in the tags. And I feel like it needs to show it somewhere around here in the ratings. It needs to show it multiple times so there is not a chance you will miss it. And I feel like they need to actually advertise it in the pictures right here. In the screenshots they show you. They need to gotcha game. They need to show you so you cannot hide it. I hope this new regulation that they do will have them show, instead of just showing the primo gems or showing whatever currency they have in game for whatever gacha game that they're talking about, they need to also show a factual price point. Like, hey, these 20 pools are going to be if you want a 10 pool, it's $20. Instead of just saying, hey, it's 1600 Astrite or whatever. They need to show what exactly you're spending your money on, how much money you're exactly spending. And they need to show it for every price point. Of course, they can keep the gems, they can keep whatever in-game currency they have, but they need to show what you're spending. How much money. The great Asmongold was doing this when he was playing. Every time he did a 10 pull on, I think it was Honkai Star Rail, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but every time he did a 10 pull, he would light a $20 bill on fire, because that's how much it was. Every 10 pull was $20. That's how expensive the game can be. But that's all I have to say about this. It is crazy. I'm going to leave this link down below if you want to see more of it. But Thank you all for watching. Have a good one. Peace.